Aloha mai kako. I'm Carl F.K. and I'm the artist behind the illustrations of the wonderful book, Mother Tree, Daughter Seed, Lessons in Slow Growth. Today, I'm going to be demonstrating the process I use to create the illustrations, a printmaking technique known as monotype. Let's get started. Okay everybody, here I have in front of us the setup for monotype printmaking. This is a technique of monotype that I enjoy doing myself. It's easy, it's fun, low tech, anybody can do it. So what I have here is a sheet of paper that will be my registration sheet. Everything will be lining up here. So what I did first was line up my paper, my finished paper. I outlined it. Then with my plexiglass, which will be holding my ink, I centered it by eye, and I outlined that too. I extended the borders beyond the paper so that I could see, or at least have an idea when I'm going to be drawing here, where my plexiglass plate will be. I have also pre-marked my sheets of paper. So this will be my first sheet I'll print of my watermark. And then my second sheet, which will be my finished image. I also have a brayer with a soft rolling pin, my water-based ink, today using black, palette knife for scooping out my ink, pencils for transferring the image over. Alright, I have also got a couple pieces of blue tape that will hold down my paper. Alright, let's get this rolling. So I'm using water-based ink. I like to use it. Easy cleanup, non-toxic, and I enjoy the results that it yields in this process too, versus an oil-based ink. With my rolling pin, my brayer, I'm going to distribute the ink, lifting up my brayer slightly each time to help distribute that ink over my plexiglass in a more uniform fashion. I want to make sure I cover the entire plexiglass plate. Spread the ink out down here. So monotypes mean one-of-a-kind prints. So the prints are going to be created by transferring the ink from here to our paper using a pencil. So it doesn't require carving a stamp or etching into a piece of metal. It just comes from this drawing and the pressure that we use with the pencil. So now I'm going to move my plexiglass over to my registration marks. I get my first sheet, which will create my watermark or underlying image. I line up my paper to my marks, hit the edges just to help hold the paper in place. Come in with my pencil. And my watermark is a combination of shapes that represent me as a person, as an artist, and it's something that created to honor those artisans of Hawaiian ancestry that came before me, particularly in the kapa making process. The closest thing that we had to a signature was the watermark, which was a layer of the copy making process. So another thing to remember is this image here needs to be done backwards. And then we pull and get our reveal. So nice. What I drew on the back, pulled the ink onto the paper, and this extra material that's transferred over, it's just what happens, and it's always a nice surprise. Place that off just to the side. Now, what I removed in the previous print will show up as white marks on the next print, wherever my pressure overlaps those areas. So I pre-drew the image of the cover, and it's backwards. So again, remember, have it backwards. And this time I am going to tape it down because I'm going to be moving around. I want it to stay in place. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of tape. Blue tape, painter's tape is nice. Usually holds its adhesive quality for a while, and it's pretty gentle on your material and your paper. You might get some paper removal, but if you remove it quite carefully, it's pretty minimal. And I'll always try to use my blue tape as far as I can to stretch its life. This tape these days is pretty expensive. Okay, now I'm ready to transfer this over. Now sometimes you might want to use a different color pencil if you have a difficult time seeing what you transfer over. And as a Kumo, as a teacher, I tell my students, use this drawing that you have already as a guide. Try not to be so stuck with it looking perfect to what you had drawn. Because sometimes when you try to make it look just exactly like what you see or what you have, you tense up and you tend to make more mistakes than you had hoped to. Okay gang, I've outlined my image, and I was very careful because only the pencil touches the paper. I don't want to put my hand on it, rest it on there. I did do some little pushing down because I want to have some of that other transfer of ink come over. So I did push gently over here. Now I'm going to remove the tape. But here is the reveal. Nice, so we can see where my watermark, where my lines overlapped, they came out as white. And so for the process of the illustrations for the book, I will take this now, scan it, and remove some of this noise if it's too much, because I have to think where the text will go. So this being the cover, we'll have the cover, the title, and have the author, illustrator, and other information that's needed, which I will be advised on by the editor and the author. But this is the process of how I created the images for the book, Mother Tree, Daughter Seed, Lessons in Slow Growth. Mahalo.
Fantastic. Brilliant time. I hope you enjoyed watching this video on the process of creating the illustrations for the book Mother Tree, Daughter Seed, Lessons in Slow Growth. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be watching a video of you and the work you've done for an illustrated book. Mahalo, aloha, ahui ho.